Good morning, Unity. I think the most difficult thing for a human to accept is to accept that they are wrong. And probably the reason why infidelity and divorce have such an impact on people's lives. But how much more difficult to accept that one has been wrong about the things that they hold the dearest in their lives and the things that they've totally believed in. Let me tell you my story. I went to Bible college when I was 20 years old or 22 years old, whatever it was, 22 years old. And I spent a couple of years there and I went on to study the Bible, and then I went on to become a missionary. I was functioning in a type of prophetic ministry. And I ended up as a missionary up in Kosi Bay in the north of Zululand for 10 years, where I was ministering across denominations, healing people of terminal diseases, prophesying, seeing visions, telling people about the future. I used to travel to Toronto practically every year, where there was a great outpouring of the Spirit going on, and I'd bring that back to Zululand and I'd carry on ministering. But there was something missing in my life. I was feeling empty. I felt like I'd reached a ceiling. I couldn't go any further spiritually. I was praying 5-6 hours a day. I was in a very, very powerful place, but I was missing something. And one day I stood up in church and I said to the congregation, I was about to preach, and I said, look, I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. I'm going home. And while I was driving home, the Spirit said to me, where are you going? And I said, I'm going home. And it said, why? And I said, because if you are God, why do I need to teach about you from a history book? Where are you today? What are you doing today? I want to know that person. And for 5 years, there was absolute silence. And you must understand that I was used to hearing the Spirit's voice all the time. As a prophetic person, there was no let up. I literally was hearing the Spirit's voice daily, every day, all day. And suddenly it stopped. I could still sense that presence, but the voice was gone for 5 years. And one day, lying on the floor in deep meditation, 5 years later, the Spirit said to me, what do you want? And I said, I want to be like the first man, like the first person, because that person had the closest understanding of what the Spirit was all about. And the Spirit said to me, you will need to forget everything you know, and I will teach you. What the Spirit was saying right there was that everything I knew was wrong. Everything I believed was wrong. And that the Spirit was now going to take over. And then I understood what it meant when Jesus said that you need to go and wait in Jerusalem until I send the Spirit who would lead you into all truth. I then understood what it meant, that I wasn't going to get my truth from a book. I wasn't going to get my truth from people. I was going to get my truth from the Spirit. But this happened gradually. And gradually over time, the Spirit slowly led me out of religion. Slowly led me out of enslavement, slowly led me out of a system of doing, of attempting to appease a God, of trying to please God, into a system of freedom. But it took time. And if I had to stand here in front of you and say to you that what you believe is wrong, you wouldn't take it very well, and I wouldn't expect you to. Because we're intelligent people, we're advanced people to a certain extent. And we've put everything we believe into, or everything we have, everything we understand, we've put into this belief that we have. It is us. We have become it. And for anyone to challenge that is like challenging our lives. And I don't want to do that. But I do want to challenge you to start thinking. I do want to challenge you to start asking questions. And I want you to ask the questions that I asked as well. Is this the truth? Or is this not? I'm trusting that you've advanced beyond 1 minute of silence, that you now have got a little bit further, perhaps 2 or 3 minutes, and you're able to keep your mind still. In that stillness, listen. In that stillness, ask yourself the question, have you got as far as you can get in the Spirit, in the belief that you have, in the religion that you believe in? Or can you still go a lot further? Are you being limited somehow? Is there more out there than what you're able to reach and achieve? Ask questions. Don't just accept things. Because you must remember, you weren't there. What you believe because you've been told to believe. Everything you understand, you've been told. You haven't experienced. It's a very different thing if you've experienced these things. And that's all I'm saying today. And I want to leave it with you. And I want to challenge you to go further in your meditations. I want to challenge you to go further in your silence, in your quiet time. And remember that prayer that we were talking about yesterday. Spirit, I surrender my life completely to you. Take my mind, my will, my emotions, and take complete control and leading and guidance of my life. Amen. Have a great evening.